Thank you for clicking on my video. This is made for you, older woman who's riding out hurricanes and other really nasty storms by yourself. When there's a nasty storm heading your way, you do everything that you can to prepare, and you tell yourself, I've got this. But inside, you're scared, rightfully so. It is not easy to ride these storms out by yourself. We have a dear friend of ours who moved from the north, and she had no idea how to prepare for hurricanes. And Dan, my husband, did a lot of handyman work for her, and we talked to her at great length about hurricane prep, knowing that she did not have a clue. So one of the things that Dan suggested was putting electric hurricane shutters on her most vulnerable windows and her lanai. And she did that. I talked to her at great length about food prep for a post-storm because, let's face it, if it's a nasty storm, you are most likely not going to have electricity. We've all heard stories about people who come home, oh yeah, there's a storm coming, so they go to the store at the last minute and they bring home chips and crackers. That's really not the best food. So at any rate, 3 years after Ian, which was, in her words, the most horrifying experience she had ever had, she, with tears in her eyes, thanked us for caring enough and helping her to prepare. She said, as terrifying as Ian was, she couldn't even begin to imagine what it might have been like to not have that protection over her windows and her lanai. Another very dear friend of ours who lived in a second floor condo, she put hurricane shutters over the course of a couple of years, as her budget allowed, over her windows. Now, she started this project before her husband passed away because they knew he was not going to be around. Now, she is a very reserved woman, and again, with tears in her eyes, thanked us for the encouragement and the support for her to put those hurricane shutters up, those electric hurricane shutters up. Now, this woman was no virgin to hurricanes. She had lived in Florida for over 20 years. But she said the comfort level of knowing that those windows were not going to blow in on her was just beyond words. Now, those are just two examples of women, older women in their 70s, who ride out and have ridden out storms by themselves. Because let's face it, it's not the same when you're an older woman and you're living by yourself. My husband and I take hurricane prep incredibly seriously. And over the years, we have watched, I can't tell you how many YouTube videos, how many articles we've read, how many websites we visited, how many books we've read to learn how to prepare for hurricanes. Because we moved from the north and we know how to handle blizzards, but hurricanes are a whole other animal. But in not one of those articles or YouTube videos or anything did we find anything that talked directly to the population of an older woman riding these storms out by themselves. Because it's not the same. Let's face it, you are not the same woman you were 20 or 30 years ago. Physically, it's definitely not the same. In so many of those videos, it's big he-men, they got this. They might have teenage sons in the house. Oh, that's good, and I'm really happy for them. But when you're riding it out by yourself and you're older and the only thing you might have with you is a kitty or a dog, it's not the same. So at any rate, we take hurricane prep very seriously. The first thing that we did when we bought our first condo when we moved to Florida was to change out every window to a hurricane window. And then our neighbors would mock us when there was a bad storm coming because not only did we have hurricane windows, but we would put corrugated polycarbonate shutters on top of those windows to protect the hurricane glass. Well, mock us all you want, but we didn't have any physical problems that way. And some of them had windows blow in, and the damage from the wind and the rain was just awful and very expensive. Now, I would rather stay home and cook and take the money that we saved from all those restaurant meals and put it towards hurricane protection. The same thing with the cruise that we didn't take. Yeah, well, you can say what you want. I like to live as much as the next person, but our physical safety when it comes to a nasty storm is priority one. Now, there's a lot more to hurricane protection and hurricane preparation than just having your nest taken care of. We've all seen those cheat sheets of 1 or 2 pages with basically bulleted lists of what you need to do for storm prep. Collect water and food and yada, yada, yada. And I get so frustrated with those lists because I basically think they're useless. They don't give you any depth. They just tell you to do X, Y, Z, but there's no details. Okay, for example, collect your important papers. Yeah, okay. Don't make me try to have to figure out by myself and spend all this time trying to figure out what exactly are you talking about for those papers and how best to organize them and how best to protect them. That's just one little example. So we took the bull by the horn, so to speak, and we said, okay, let's just do this for ourselves. So we did, and we came up with these checklists, and we have, at this point, and very battle tested because they have been through many storms, everything that we need to do to really be prepared. So the checklists start in pre-storm stuff. In June, which is the beginning of hurricane season, and things are generally pretty quiet, we have this little ritual. These are the things that we need to do. And then, when there's an actual storm heading our way, we have a checklist that goes from 72 hours out to 8 hours out of everything that we need to do. Now, when Hurricane Ian was heading our way, now it wasn't supposed to actually hit us so directly, but that's hurricanes taking that unexpected turn. I looked at my husband and I said, I feel so much calmer knowing that we're going to go through this checklist of ours, and by the time we're finished, we know we are as prepared as we possibly can be. And the comfort level and the reduction of stress is absolutely amazing. So what we're doing here is we are trying to reach other older women and help them to prepare, because you know you have to do this. You know it's not going to be easy, but you can do it. And having that information and going through that prep is going to give you a comfort level that is beyond words. So 3 things. We're going to have some more videos to talk about specifically for older women. Number 2, please go to Amazon and type in the name of our book, Real Life Hurricane Prep. And that is what it is real life hurricane prep. Type in that word, bring up our book, read those reviews. They will give you a really good feel for other people's perspectives on what we're talking about. But then hit that read sample button, and get a taste of the real down and dirty prep that we're offering. You can go through the table of contents and see how comprehensive it is. And Amazon has also put the whole section of the important papers online. So you can go through it and you can look at it and you go, oh, that cheat sheet is not worth the paper it's worth it that it's written on, because this will give you incredible detail information that you really need. Because let's face it, your life is a business, and so to speak. You need to have this kind of information, these papers, in order to go through after a storm. So take a look at that website, and then go to Amazon, take a look at that book, and then go to our website, which is CameronHomeSolutionsLLC.com. Take a visit. There's more detail there. There's more information. It covers a whole bunch of stuff. Our YouTube channel covers all kinds of stuff, so much hurricane prep. And it will really give you a leg up and give you so much more confidence to face the next hurricane, because we all know it's not if, it's when. So thank you again for visiting this video. Take care.